Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Keeping It Real podcast. I'm your host, McKaylee Lonaville, and today I have such a special guest. I am so excited about this. I have one of the founders of WonderCow on the podcast, Erica Diepersloot. Right? I say that right?
Yes, yes, it's a hard one.
Welcome to the Keeping It Real podcast.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here and very excited. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So, little backstory. I was in the Keys. We go for a family vacation every year to the Keys, and I got a message from WonderCow, and I was like, oh, what's this? I just looked at it, and they're like, hi, we have some products. Do you want to try it? And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. Okay, let me what is it? So I've been wanting. They were like, we have colostrum, we have all these things. I was like, oh my gosh, how funny! I've been really wanting to try colostrum. So I looked at the Instagram page and I was like, oh my gosh, they're really cool. So I was like, I messaged back. I was like, yes, absolutely. What do you need me to do? And they're like, nothing. What do you want to send us? I was like, I don't care, whatever. So they sent. I brought it with me, the colostrum. So they sent the colostrum, and I was like, okay, cool. So I started taking it, and within a week, I felt like a new person. So
Amazing.
yeah, I just can't even. I tell my podcast peeps on here all the time, I can't say enough good things.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm so happy to have you on here. So I'm gonna stop talking because I want you to take over. So if you can just introduce yourself, introduce the company, and just take it over. Tell us everything.
Okay, sounds good. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the support. We're so thankful. Anytime we get to help someone, we are so thankful for the opportunity and so glad to hear that. You're a brand new woman.
Yeah, I am.
Uh, so yes, I'm Erica Diepersloot, also still learning how to pronounce that last name, and we've been married for 10 years. My husband and I are both from the Central Valley of California. Ironically, we both grew up on dairy farms, like an hour and a half apart, but in the Central Valley, that is kind of common. Both went away for college, but we got together and dated long distance for the second half of college, and then got married. And we were living on the dairy that he grew up on, and he had the opportunity to run a couple different dairies in Madera. And I had been working at a tech company for quite a few years after college, but we became parents in 2017, and that was an amazing experience. We loved, yeah, getting to have our own baby and the beauty in all of that. What a little miracle. But she had recurring ear infections a lot, like starting at 9 months old. So I was a first time mom. I would take her to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician would recommend antibiotics. So as a first time mom, I just listened to what the doctor said, and okay, we will do antibiotics. But that happened month after month. And so by the time she was a year and a half, she had been on 9 different bouts of antibiotics. And at the time, I didn't know that that was taking such a toll on her gut. But now, after learning more about gut health, I feel terrible that she had it was like the antibiotics had just taken a toll on her whole gut health. I also didn't know that 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So, as a toddler, this daughter of ours was getting sick a lot. She was the type to, if you just sneezed or even looked at her, she would get sick. And it was really hard to have a baby who was sick a lot, fussy a lot. And my husband was the one who was like, I think we need to heal her from the inside out. There's something within her. And then that's when we started doing a lot of research on gut health, and ultimately came to the conclusion of we need to rebuild her gut lining. And how can we do that? Well, let's try colostrum. And from our dairy background, we knew the power of colostrum because a baby calf is born essentially without an immune system. So she will drink colostrum from her mom, and that's what creates her immune system. So Rob was like, let's just try colostrum. So we wanted to go with a pasteurized powder form instead of directly from the cows, but to get a pasteurized powder form of pure colostrum. But as we were doing our research looking for other companies to purchase from, we soon realized that not all colostrums are created equal. Like some companies were selling colostrum that had different things added to it or not as potent. And so then Rob and I decided let's actually create a company to bring pure bovine colostrum to the world, colostrum that we can trust, colostrum that our family can take. And so WonderCow was born.
Oh my
And once our daughter was taking colostrum, it has made a huge impact on her gut health. I think the science behind it is it helps rebuild your gut lining. And so once that was a lot healthier and stronger, then she was better able to fight off like toxins that came into her body. So she wasn't getting sick as often. So now it's not that we're completely immune to every cold, but in general, when I have friends in my same situation with a bunch of little kids and they always say, oh, back to school, we're going to get sick, or 'tis the season to be sniffly, like I feel very blessed and fortunate to say that we don't get sick as often as we used to.
Yeah.
And if we do, the runny noses don't last near as long. So for us, it has
Yeah.
made a huge impact on our little family.
I love that so much. I'm so like I don't have kids yet, but I have a bunch of little siblings. So I have siblings in the range. I have a 22-year-old sibling, and then I have a range of 7 to 11-year-old are my
Okay.
siblings. So
Yeah.
I'm like so much about like all the holistic health, like what can we do to like
Yeah.
make them like healthier without antibiotics, without doing all these things, because at the end of the day, the holistic stuff, the foods that we eat, the things that we put in our bodies are what's going to actually make us feel good. And instead of putting these other things in our body that we have no idea what's in them. So
Mm-hmm.
I totally get that. And I've like gotten so on like the holistic kick within these last couple years that I just love it. So like when
Mm-hmm.
I found this, I truly like what you said about like her gut. So I've always had stomach issues. Actually, they started when I was like 18.
Okay.
And I always like I'll eat something, immediately have a stomach ache. Anything,
Mm-hmm.
like anything that I eat.
Yeah.
And ever since I started taking this, I don't get stomach aches anymore.
Amazing. Yes,
It's
I'm so happy to hear
crazy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No.
so good. But so what, I guess like explain that a little bit. Like how does it rebuild your gut, or like what in it? Yeah, I guess explain that.
So, colostrum is the first milk that mammals produce after giving birth. So, humans produce colostrum when they have a baby, and cows also. I think it's just God's gift to a newborn because we essentially don't have an immune system yet, so He knows like to build our immune systems. But this colostrum is more yellow in color because it's so packed with nutrients. We call them like the bioactive compounds that are naturally in colostrum, and some of them are immunoglobulin G, and that since it includes the word immuno, you know that it's for your immune system. But these compounds just work together to like strengthen, or in this case, build your immune system.
Mm,
So if that works for a newborn, the way that it helps adults is very similar. It just kind of goes to wherever your body needs it. It also has some natural anti-inflammatory properties. So it's funny, like the different benefits that people experience, because
yes.
for us personally, I notice our kids aren't getting sick as often as they used to. But for someone like you, it can really help with digestion or IBS or any that sort of gut health. And then for others, if they have inflammation within their body, we've had lots of customers talk about how that has helped them also.
Yeah.
So it really is fascinating how much your gut health affects your overall wellness. And I think now people are becoming more aware of that, but even your mental health, how connected your gut health is to your mental wellness.
Okay.
So it really is just amazing how many people it can influence.
Yeah, that the inflammation. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. I
yeah.
was like I was like a balloon before I started taking this. I was taking these products that I like definitely shouldn't have been. Oh, also my skin. So I was
Hmm.
taking these products that were like I was drinking, and like they were internal products that
Hmm.
were not good.
Hmm.
And I stopped taking them and I started taking this, and my skin. So like I've never dealt with like skin issues really in my life, but my skin from these products that I was taking, I was breaking out everywhere. I had
Yeah.
breakouts everywhere. I had pimples that were like so painful that I couldn't even like touch my face. I was so inflamed, so uncomfortable, and it's all gone. Look at my skin, I'm
Yes,
glowing.
you are. I'm so glad. And that's another like benefit that we talk about. It's essentially the fountain of youth because
Yeah.
one of the, I guess, benefits within colostrum is it helps your cells regenerate. So
Mm,
that means it's like sloughing off the old and creating the new. So it really is helping like clear your complexion, but also to maintain your youth, like your
mm.
yeah, your wrinkles and things like that. So
Anything to keep me young because I'm not getting Botox.
yeah, I know.
Well, that is so cool. I like love that backstory. That is so amazing, and I'm so like happy to just hear that your daughter was able to heal and just like you guys were able to find that for her because truly like if you didn't find this colostrum or think about that, who knows how many more rounds of antibiotics she would need.
Mhm.
So what a blessing and a gift that God was able to give that to you guys to
I know.
just be like, this is it.
I know. It's amazing. We are so thankful.
I love it. So, do you guys are you guys on the farm? Do you live on the farm or like do you have a farm close by? How does is it family owned?
Okay, so I had mentioned how my husband and I both grew up on dairies, and that is just happy coincidence that I was from a dairy family, went to college down in San Diego, like nothing to do with the dairies, majored in math, got a job in the Bay Area, but fell in love with a dairyman, and that is a very happy coincidence because I do feel like since we lived on the dairy, we were out in the country in the middle of nowhere, and we were both thankful that that didn't feel like a shock to me. Like I knew what it was like to live in the middle of the country, and we were so happy. Loved being on the dairy, and even like having our kids born while we lived on the dairy and getting to walk to go see the cows and all of that is just an amazing experience.
Yeah.
For my husband, I feel like it was a little bit tough to launch a company, to be launching WonderCow while he was running these. And you're right, they were family dairies. And it ended up feeling like a conflict of how do I go to the dairy office but then be pursuing trying to launch this company.
Mm,
And then he would try to work from our home, but then I'm home with a bunch of little kids. And so we recently moved off the farm and we're still in Central California, but not living on the dairy anymore. And then that was really the opportunity gave us the opportunity to just jump in with both feet with WonderCow, and that has been phenomenal. So he still runs the dairies from a high level. We've always had an amazing management team that we're so thankful for, and they really are the reason that he had the bandwidth to even think about launching another company, and then moving off. So he has a little bit more separation between the businesses. So
oh my gosh.
yeah, but
That is so cool. That is so
mhm.
cool. It's like my dream because my boyfriend, he grew up on a farm in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like dream of just like being on a farm, just like going outside to be with the cows. Like how
Yeah.
fun.
No, it is hilarious that that was reality of like, okay, I'm gonna take our kids on a walk in the stroller, and we're just going through cornfields, and then, yeah, down the corrals to see the cows. And there's always so we have Holsteins, so they're black and white, but there's always like one or two or three brown ones in the herd. Not always, but in the
Yeah.
last few years for us. And so my young daughters would always name the brown ones Brownie, of course. So we would always be looking for Brownie. And yeah, such, yeah, a very
So
sweet,
fun. And
yeah.
how beautiful that you guys that you get to raise kids to like see that
Mhm.
and be around that. Like just
Totally.
so fun. Do you know, I don't know if you know or if you've seen who Ballerina Farm is?
No.
Oh my gosh, you have to follow her on Instagram. You'll love her.
Okay.
They like live on a farm. They have 8 kids and they just like are out milking cows and all
Oh,
that. You'll love them.
yeah. I like actually I'm gonna write that down because that sounds like something that we would love.
You would love it. And they sell like meats and everything like that. They're so cool. So
Oh,
definitely
cool.
go check them out. Ballerina Farm. For all my listeners, go follow Ballerina Farm. She's amazing. Talk a little bit about how the role of your faith plays in your business. I know that you have a Bible verse on your
Yeah.
products. So
Yeah.
just talk a little bit about that.
Yep. It's 3 John 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. And yeah, I feel like, um, yeah, our family loves Jesus with our whole hearts, and we feel so blessed and fortunate to be in this position where we found a solution that helped our family's health. And
Yeah.
what an amazing opportunity to now be able to extend that to other people and families around the nation now, and God willing, around the world at some point.
Yeah.
So how does our faith play a role? I feel like even in us launching WonderCow, we had seen God's hand in so many different challenges. I will say, um, my husband will even pray. He'll pray for wisdom, but he'll even pray for creativity. And I feel like because of these prayers, the idea of trying colostrum for our daughter
Yeah.
came to his mind, you know, and then there were certain leaps of faith that we had to make. Like, are we going to start tiny and sell at farmers markets, which would also be great. But
Yeah.
my husband especially was the one of like, let's just take a leap of faith and just pursue this. And I
Mm.
feel like God really blessed that. And now here we are.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So, have you always been a Christian in your life, or is this like a new faith? Like, kind of explain that. I'd love to know kind of your faith journey too.
Yeah, I am very thankful to have been born in a family where both my parents love Jesus with their whole hearts, and so was raised to going to church every Sunday and part of youth group and all of that. So I was young when I asked Jesus to be my savior, and my husband had a very similar story, and so we are very thankful for that. I will say, um, I have always longed for heaven in like a far off way. Like, oh yes, Jesus saved me from my sins, and someday I get to live in heaven with him forever.
Yeah.
But my mom passed away in the year 2021, and
Mm.
she was young. She was 55. I was
Wow.
30. And ever since she passed, I feel this crazy closeness with heaven. And I think that we know God is close to the brokenhearted, but heaven just feels even closer than it had been before. And yeah, I just feel so thankful for that closeness.
Yeah.
And yeah, that yearning for heaven is just different when you have someone that you love so much there. And really, we should all feel that way. Jesus is there. Like it was really humbling when, for me, it almost, yeah, became even more real when my mom went to heaven. But
Right. Right.
I've heard that grief can be a gift disguised. And I
Mm.
definitely feel that, like me missing her is a gift disguised because heaven just feels even closer to me. So,
That's so beautiful. I never even thought of it that way. I had a grandfather pass away in 2022, and it's the same thing. It just feels like a little bit closer. Like you just know that they're there. You can feel their presence so heavy,
hmm
especially when you know that they're with Jesus and when you know that
hmm
that they believed in him and that they're
hmm
just walking with Jesus. Like, oh,
I
cool.
know, I know,
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm so sorry about your mother passing, but we know that she is somewhere greater than we could ever imagine. So,
I know. Yep.
oh my gosh,
What a
I
gift.
love that. I love that so much about like heaven being close because it is, and especially in these times, in these days of hard times or hardships that we go through. I mean, we live in a crazy world, but
hmm
it's so good to know that, and through our world right now, Jesus is king. Jesus is authority. He has the rule over our lives. He knows what's going to happen in our lives, and I think that that's such like a cool testimony for you guys that Jesus knew that he was going to be able to help heal your daughter, and he was going to help
hmm
heal her gut and make you guys now have this amazing company that gets to glorify
I
him, that
know.
gets to heal people. Like how beautiful is that?
It really is so crazy. And my husband and I talked about that too, of not that we didn't mean to have a platform, right? Like now
Yeah.
I'm on podcasts. I didn't think that I was
Yeah.
going to be interviewed on podcasts
Yeah.
like even 2 years ago, you know?
Right.
But it really is amazing that he gave us a solution to heal our daughter, and now we're able to affect so many other people and families around the world. And now it has brought us onto podcasts where we get to talk about our values, our beliefs, and yeah, hopefully share the goodness of God as well as the goodness of health.
Yeah, and you are. And how beautiful that is that. And I think personally, because like my podcast is a faith based podcast, but I've also been coming on here and talking a lot more about like health and wellness, which I think is
Mhm.
kind of like crazy because it was supposed to be faith-based, but I'm also it's hand in hand with health and wellness. I
Mhm.
think that health and wellness has to do with your faith because
Mhm.
for me when I started walking more with Jesus is when I my health and wellness started thriving more because
Hmm.
when you start walking with him, I just feel like your mind starts clearing, your energy starts clearing, you start feeling
Mhm.
like a new person, which ultimately I believe like goes hand in hand with health and wellness
Oh yeah.
because you feel like a new person all around.
Well, it is so funny to me when now people are recognizing, oh, I need to actually stop and like be present and allow my mind to like shut down a little bit. And the Bible tells us, the Bible gives us verses like, be still and know that I am God. And so, like, as different cultures and I don't know, other like wellness centers are telling you to like try meditation and mindfulness. Like the Bible has told us to be like mindful of our thoughts and to meditate on God's word, right? And so the fact that now like modern medicine or different cultures are coming, like they're now finally catching up with what the Bible has been telling us for thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always say it. This is like my new thing on my podcast. The Bible literally tells us what's going to happen in our lives. It's not just like this scary book that like is all these things that don't make sense. It literally is lining up our lives and what we're going to feel and what we're going to go through and telling us how to go through it in the best possible way.
Yeah, and it also gives examples of how people, messed up because we will do
Right.
that also, and
Right.
the gift of God's grace, and the more that we can just A, realize how sinful we are, and B, how much God loves us, and that we should just be overwhelmed with gratitude and just be fixing our eyes on Jesus.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And ever since following Jesus, I mean, my whole life has changed. I've always been a Christian my whole life growing up, but kind of fell off in high school. Got caught up in like the high school stuff, got caught up with like the New York City life. And then this past year just like completely gave my life to him. And it's
Amazing.
been a wild journey, but an amazing journey.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And it's so crazy too, like you said, like I never thought that I would be having a podcast like talking about him, but it's transformed my life. I've heard other people's lives transform, and at the end of the day, if this podcast doesn't go anywhere, I'm still sharing Jesus.
Uh-huh.
I'm still telling people about him, and that's all that we can do and do as followers of him. So I
Yeah.
think that's awesome, and I
Yeah.
think it's awesome that you put his your a Bible verse on your products. That's just awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's crazy that we have the opportunity to sell a product that we can put a Bible verse on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's all. Yeah.
Right.
It's
So how
really.
long have you guys been in business?
So I said 2021 because that was our big year of like Rob was still we were still living on the dairies. Rob was still running those. I was still working for the tech company, and then but that's when we really needed to find a solution for our daughter's gut. And then that was when we like found colostrum and realized that we could apply the power of colostrum to her health and overall wellness. Then became the whole journey of what are we going to call this? Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we have this product. We know we're going to go with this pure bovine colostrum powder. But what kind of jar is it going to be? Where are we going to sell it? And like I had said, my gut response is to start small, like, oh, well, we'll just like, sell it to friends and family. And then the fact that my husband just like dreams big and just felt led to let's let's just go for it meant that we started bringing in like we worked with a company to help like build our website for example and someone to help us like get onto Amazon and stuff like that
Mm.
and so the idea and the name WonderCow was established in 2021 but we went live selling online April of 2023 so now it's been about a year and a half and when we started, it was all on like direct to consumer through our website, but also through Amazon. And
Mm.
then since then, we have added a few new products, and now we sell on a few other platforms like iHerb and Walmart.com, that sort of thing.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah,
Awesome. Okay, and so what I know you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to know because I know that this is important too. What is the difference between your colostrum and let's say another company's colostrum or other companies out there colostrum? Because I know that there are a bunch of different companies. So I want to know like what makes you different, what makes you stand out. Yeah, you can just dive into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So a few, I guess our main distinguishment, I don't know if that's the right word, distinction is, so we're a family run, like I feel like being founded by a couple who has seen the power of colostrum
Right.
firsthand makes us extremely passionate about it.
Right.
And also being a dairy family and having the background and understanding how colostrum works in nature and how we could apply it, to our own health. Those two factors. But the product itself, what we had found was a lot of other companies were adding different elements to it. So some of them can be helpful, like they would add a mixing agent so that it can dissolve easily in water. And so, yes, that can have benefits, but originally what we wanted to just bring pure bovine colostrum, like
Yeah.
something without additives. And so that would be a very clear distinction. There's also different ways to process colostrum, and you can kind of think of it as the difference between like whole milk and skim milk. And I feel like there was a craze for a while where people were going for like the lower fats milk products, and just assuming that's better for you. But ultimately, that's harder for your body to digest because it's just not quite as natural. And so, like the natural fats are healthy fats that help your body digest them. And so, with whole colostrum, it's not necessarily just like the fats, it's like all the other benefits that go along with maintaining colostrum as like its most natural form. So there's a difference in texture between um, ours is more like golden in color, which makes sense because it's closest to nature.
Yeah.
And it even kind of smells like a milk-ish product instead
Yes.
of if it was, yeah, if it was like super processed, then it you just end up losing a little bit of the benefits because it's not quite as natural. So those are, I guess, the key differentiators between them.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, because I actually typically can't handle dairy. Like when it comes to like
Mhm.
milk and things like that, like I really can't drink it. But with this, I have no issues. Like
I'm
it's
so glad. Yeah,
I know. It's crazy. I'm telling
yeah,
everyone.
I
I
know.
need like shirts. Give me shirts, I'll wear them everywhere.
Okay, we'll work on it. That is on our to-do list for sure. It is really interesting because the whole, I don't want to like bash what it seems like a lot of doctors will like just casually say if you go in for a stomachache, they'll probably just assume like, well, it could be due to milk products. And that's, I see why they say that because sometimes it is like an inflammation due to the way that milk itself is processed. It doesn't always mean that you are lactose intolerant, like, or if you have an allergy to lactose. But I feel like that's one of the quickest things for people to eliminate from their diet. And then they end up missing out on a lot of great benefits, but it's kind of because that the way that in America a lot of milk products are processed. So colostrum itself can be kind of what heals people's guts to allow them to consume foods, and I feel like that's your story exactly. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's so
love
true
that.
because you hear everyone's dairy free, gluten free right now,
Uh-huh.
which again makes sense because of the way that things are processed here in
Right.
America. But when you have to do your research, you have to look at what companies are actually doing with products, which I clearly have a testimony of it. I could not drink dairy. Like I really don't. I try and stay away from dairy. I did just start like the raw milk and I can drink
Yeah,
that, which is crazy.
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's just doing your research and knowing the companies that you're using. And for all my listeners out there, if you're taking a colostrum, take this one instead.
Yes.
And okay, so explain a little bit. I actually want you to talk a little bit about the Wonder Glow because
Oh
ever
yeah.
since I've been taking the Wonder Glow, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair, skin, and nails. So if you could
Yep.
just dive in. So for all my people listening right now, there's a product called Wonder Glow. and I started taking this, I think, like a month ago. And it has colostrum, hyaluronic acid, and collagen in it. So if you could just talk a little bit about this product, I wanna know everything.
Yeah. Well, it's funny now being in a position where we had our original colostrum product, which made a huge impact on our family, but now we have this company where we have the opportunity to create other products. So it's like Rob and I sitting on the couch at night, like, ooh, what else do we want? Like, what would I personally want, right? And
Yeah.
so now I'm in my 30s and have a bunch of kids, and you after having a bunch of kids, you end up losing some of your hair, like postpartum, you shed, and getting older. Would love to maintain the youthful glow.
Yeah.
My nails, I just don't have time to think about doing my nails, or I choose not to prioritize them, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was fun to brainstorm of what if we just encompassed all of these things, these like a supplement for all of these
Yeah.
beauty, right? And so then we decided to make a capsule. So it's pill form, which is different than the powder. And I totally loved the powder form. Like for my girls, I always make a smoothie and it's just easy. If we're in a hurry, I like froth it in their orange juice or their milk. And that's like super easy for me. I'll even like sprinkle it on cottage cheese or like stir into yogurt, like so easy. So I didn't realize for me how much of a difference it would make having a capsule, but it does. Like, so in the mornings, it's just so easy for me to grab my Wonder Glow and take, yeah, a couple of capsules. So that has been a very fun one. And people are saying, yeah, exactly what you said, hair, skin, and nails. And yeah, we're so thankful for it. I hadn't known much about hyaluronic acid until kind of like this past year when we were doing research on it. And essentially, it helps your body maintain like stay hydrated. And we know like the more dry your skin is, like the more you're going to end up having like a lot of dead skin cells, and then leads to wrinkles. Whereas if you keep the moisture, then you can hopefully like mitigate the wrinkles. And so hyaluronic acid helps that. So
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
so interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
that one's been like a game changer. I really like that
yes, I'm so glad.
product. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm
good.
so glad. Yeah. It
But
also had biotin in it, so I feel like biotin for your nails also, I've noticed a huge difference. I
that's
will like have to cut them so they don't get too long, and I feel like that was never really an issue
no,
before, like they would end up cracking or breaking, but
yep.
not anymore.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
You had talked about or mentioned if we would want to talk about like what is different with our culture within WonderCow
Yeah,
because of Jesus. And so one
yeah.
thing I wanted to mention that has made I feel like a big impact for us. So I don't know if you're familiar with Slack, but that's just an app that we use within our team to communicate. And you can do like direct messages, or you can have a thread of like, this is our product thread, and then everything about like new products is on there.
Mm,
But we recently started a prayer channel on our Slack. And so we can have like prayers business wise of like when we launched a new product, like when Wonder Glow came to market, or we recently launched the chocolate flavor, and yeah, we're in the process of launching the collagen colostrum pills. But all of these, like, it's a big deal to launch a new product and get that out there. And even selling on Amazon, you need if you don't have any purchasers yet, like people aren't going to want to buy that pill because, well, there's no reviews yet, right? And so like
right.
the launch always feels like a big deal and kind of daunting, but it's every time it's just this like leap of faith. And then it's cool to just drop specific requests in our prayer channel, and we just have like a very close knit little team. So people can add if they have anything specific in their lives to pray for. But that has been very cool. And then I feel like just having the ability to type them out, then we're just able to like thank God even more easily because we see the prayer request written right there. And oh yeah, here we go, another successful launch. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh my God.
So that would be kind of one way that we see, yeah, that I guess that distinguishes the
Right.
way we have, yeah, our culture.
Right.
In general, we definitely value being honest and transparent with our customers, and
Yeah.
just being a company of integrity, because there are other similar companies that are out there and they might make different claims of, I don't know, even things like whether their cows were grass fed completely or different things like that. Like they might say things that sound good to the public, even if they're not necessarily 100% true just because they're not like regulated in the US, that sort of thing.
Right.
So there's that has been very close, yeah, to our hearts of like we want to maintain being a company of integrity.
Mm,
And I will say one of my husband's strengths is he's a very generous person. And I think as Christians, we're called to be irrationally generous, right? And that has led to people actually like complimenting our customer service because there ends up being, I don't know, different things that we've had to resolve for customers. And
yeah.
when your overall theme is to be irrationally generous, we have been blessed by that. So
Right. I will
yeah.
say that. I mean, because even thinking about you, reaching out to just be like, hey, can I send you something? And not even like what I loved so much. I'm very new to like the whole social media world and like trying to be this influencer stuff,
Yeah.
all the things. But
Yeah.
I think what was amazing was that you reached out and there was not like a requirement of
Oh,
like you need to do this, you need to do that. You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
thought that was super cool and just like a generous thing again, like we're gonna send you this and like we hope you love it. And it was never like we need this from you, but it was just more of like a genuine opportunity. And like even this, like you guys coming on, like your customer service, I'm like emailing all the time. Like I hope you guys don't mind all my questions.
Yeah. No, we don't mind.
It's so sweet. And what was so funny, this is like a whole nother backstory of when I first heard about you guys. I had mentioned to my mom that like you guys reached out, whatever, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I actually messaged them like last year and asked them about all these questions, and you guys typed out like a whole thing of all these questions that my mom
Yeah.
had.
Oh,
Literally told my
yeah.
mom everything." And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I love them. I'm doing it.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. And how funny that your mom had separately heard of them, separate from
I
you.
know. I
Yeah.
know. And she was like asking about, just some simple questions and you guys they went into full depth. So it was so
Yay.
amazing. So do you have any exciting like plans in the work for WonderCow? Any new things? Like how can my listeners like get involved and kind of be involved in what you guys have coming up?
Yeah, that has been fun because as I had mentioned, like we get to develop what we want for our little family, and a lot of times other people want that also.
Yeah.
So one thing was I am totally a sweet tooth person and I try to eat very healthy during the day. And then I really enjoy dessert. But I feel like my kids are very similar. Like they just love chocolate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in general, we drink whole white milk. We don't do a whole lot of chocolate milk, but on Family Fridays, we get to watch a movie together and have popcorn. And it is fun to have a special drink. And so we'll do chocolate milk on Fridays, but it's fun to make it a superfood, and so that we now have developed a product. It's colostrum and cocoa powder, and I think it's delicious. It tastes like a dark chocolate milk.
Oh my God.
And so that's another fun one, especially for your listeners that have little kids.
Yeah.
That is a very fun one because it's, of course, everyone has their favorite chocolate powder that they mix in milk and they drink, as kids, but that doesn't have as many health benefits. It has a lot more sugar. And so
Yeah.
this is great to be able to have a special treat that is also amazing for you. So that's a fun one. The capsules, like the pills, were also a really fun one because, like I said, some people really like being able to make a smoothie or stirring it into their yogurt, but for some people, it's just super simple to take a pill.
Right.
So that is exciting. We are working on a product that will be specifically for toddlers, which I'm really excited about, because toddlers can take like the colostrum starting at
Right.
12 months. They're welcome to, but to have a product that's like is specifically geared to those like tiny years.
Yeah.
That part's exciting, and we already, as a company, um, we give a portion of our proceeds to just different missions, and we're really passionate about like being able to support orphanages or give nutritional meals to less fortunate families. And so we partnered with Mission of Hope, and they have this program where you can donate X amount, and then that supplies meals for different orphanages and groups within Haiti. And so that has been super exciting and something that we're really passionate about. So it's
Wow.
very, yeah, it's very, I don't even know the word, how special it is to be in an
Right.
opportunity where we can, as a company, give all these
Right.
meals to Haiti, or to less fortunate in general. But that has
Wow.
been amazing. Things
That
we're
is
looking forward to as
so
we grow.
beautiful. I love
Thanks.
that so much. And that's, hold on, I need to get my dog.
Oh.
Sorry, she's like
So
trying to get up
cute.
here. Say hi to Kaya.
Hi, Kaya. Hi, Pete.
Wait, oh, also, can dogs take colostrum?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that you asked this. Yes.
Wow.
And it's amazing for them. And I feel like you would just scoop it onto his dry kibble, or I feel like dogs are normally not overly picky, especially with like a milk product.
Yeah.
He or she, right?
Yes.
She'll probably, yeah. But it is amazing for them. And if we know how your gut health affects your overall wellness, I feel like you will notice that it will help her quite a bit too. And a lot of, especially older big dogs, will
Yeah.
have inflammation within their bodies. And so giving them colostrum can help with that. And yeah, and if they ever eat, I don't know if your dog is ever outside, but we have had dogs that eat things that they shouldn't. And so being able to help with digestion in general. Yeah, all
Oh
about
my
that. That's so
goodness.
good. Yeah.
So she is basically a human.
Yes.
And
Lots of our customers have dogs that are humans. Yeah.
yes, and she only eats organic meats and vegetables.
Uh-huh.
So we will definitely be putting the colostrum on
Yes.
her food now.
Yes. So good.
Oh my goodness. Well, going back, sorry, Kaya distracted me, but that is so beautiful that you get to give back. And I think again, that's all part of like being a Christian. We get to give back,
Mhm.
and I have really learned so much that it is not my money, it is God's money, and
Mhm.
He has blessed me with an opportunity, so I need to give back. And I think that that's so beautiful that you guys have a blessing and you give back and you do that, and that just goes to show again who you are as a company and what you stand for, which I think is beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. And I guess my last thing, I guess, where kind of just tell everyone where they can find you. I'm gonna put on my link here, but where can they find you? Just all
Yeah.
that, just some final thoughts, encouragement, just for everyone. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, our website is wondercow.com. And that has been fun in general because you'll see our whole story is on the homepage, and we have a blog. And so that has been really fun if you want to more get to know us. And then, of course, you'll see all the different products and that sort of thing. We also do sell on Amazon and on iHerb and Walmart.com. And then our Instagram handle is at WonderCow and Facebook at WonderCow. And I think that's all of them.
Awesome, awesome, and that I'm just like so excited that you came on. Thank you so much. It's been
Yeah.
such a blessing to be able to use your products now for the last couple of months, to just know that you guys are Christians, that you are giving back, that you're helping change lives. Truly, like, thank you so much for what you guys do, and I hope one day I get to meet y'all. That would be so fun.
Anytime you're out in California, you're welcome.
Yes.
And thank you very much for having me. This was such an honor, and it's very fun to get to talk about something I'm so passionate about. So,
Yes, and anytime I'd love to have you back on. Truly, like if there's, I'm excited for like new products to come on, so that maybe you can come back on and just explain a little bit
yeah,
about the products.
yeah.
Just
I'm
all the,
excited to hear how Kaya responds to it. Let me know.
she's gonna love
Yes, I think so.
it. Thank you so much, and everyone, go follow WonderCow. Go get the products. I'm going to put my link in the bio, or in the podcast description here. With that link, you get 15% off of your products. And if you guys have any questions, just reach out to them. They are so nice, so wonderful, so helpful. So thank you again, Erica. It was so good to have you on.
Yes.
And if anyone uses their products, make sure to tag them, make sure to tell all of your friends, and as always, keep it real out there, you guys. We'll see you on the next one, and thank you again, Erica.
Thanks, Kaylee.